Well, we are live.
I still don't have anything going, but if we are live now, I apologize. Oh, now it kicks in. There we go. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. I'm Kyle Smith. Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. I'm doing this from my good old cell phone today, so I apologize if there's a little lagging there from my end. But welcome, guys. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about this week on the podcast.
Mostly Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes, but introducing first, before we get to Teddy Bridgewater, Adam Carlson is with us.
Again, yes. Top billing.
I forget which one every time.
So
now.
Good.
I'm gonna cause like a divide between the three of us and Kyle's.
Oh.
But we saved the best for last. Kyle West.
Hello, Tony's Ice Cream.
Yes. Oh, shout out to my hometown. Oh man, whew. Place is so good. Instant diabetes going.
I want to get them to sponsor the show, but
I want you to have one of their probably. That's what I want.
They're probably Panthers fans. We've decided so.
If we can't get Taco Bell, I don't know.
Yeah, let's settle for ice cream.
Yeah.
Yes, I want all of you guys. If you visit Gastonia, go by this place. Go to Tony's Ice Cream and get a milkshake. It'll change your life. But we're not here to talk about ice cream, unfortunately. We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings here at the Purple People Podcast. And this is episode number 275, but I'll let you guys steal the title.
I thought Mr. West would be all over this one because it's right up his wheelhouse.
Teddy's Revenge.
All right, so Teddy's Revenge is a callback to a horror movie. And do you know which one that is, Mr. West?
Oh, see, now you put me on the test. It's probably Friday the 13th.
It is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Freddy's Revenge.
Freddy's Revenge, yeah.
And do you remember the tagline for that movie?
I don't.
The man of your dreams is back.
That is accurate as all can be for Teddy Bridgewater.
I love it.
I figured that you'd be all over that one with how much I'm not really a Freddy fan, but
see, I'm more a Friday the 13th fan myself.
So that's fun.
So we get started with the show. If you guys haven't heard the news today, which is kind of fitting that we decided to do the show a little bit late since we came off the bye week, there's not too much news. But the breaking news of the week is Teddy Bridgewater is back on the 53-man roster. I know a lot of people are excited, like all of us here at the podcast. But to make room for Teddy, we had to put Sam Bradford on the IR. I'll get that out of the way because we're going to talk about Teddy a lot on the show. Sam Bradford had a procedure done, I think, to scope his knee out is what I read between all of the
just a scope.
Just wanted to get it cleaned up. I believe it's Dr. James Andrews, if I can remember correctly. He's operated on it before. He's pretty well known. But Sam's done for the season. We all know that he comes with a fragile sign and a tape that goes all around him. I don't know.
I do want to jump in for a second, though, because he might not be done for the season. I mean, he'll be done for the regular season, but the new rules with injured reserve is that you are out for 8 weeks. Doesn't matter the time period. So he could be eligible to come back for, I believe, the wild card game if they need him to.
Yeah. And that's late enough that, I mean, you never know.
Because I saw that some of our people on Fanside had reported that he was done for the year, and it's like, that might not be true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry for the technicality. I just assumed that too. But 8 weeks puts him, you're right at the beginning of the playoffs. Depending on where we fall, I'm going to go ahead and assume that we are going to go to the playoffs because, damn it, we deserve to. With all the crap.
Don't change this. Don't do that.
No, we deserve to go to the playoffs, man. We need to go. I have a special feeling this year, so I'm hoping it continues. But it was crazy that Sam, this year with an improved and younger and healthier offensive line, couldn't stay healthy, and he was just there for all 15 games that he started last year in a row, no injuries, behind what was just a monstrosity back there. So it's kind of weird. I think it comes full circle. The only reason he was brought in, we all know Teddy went down last year because of a knee injury, and now Teddy gets activated, and to give him a spot, Sam has to go. So it's weird how this is all turned around, but Sam is on the IR for now, and Teddy is back to the 53-man roster. So I know for all you Teddy fans, that's really exciting. Don't get your hopes up because he's not starting this weekend, but that is a hopeful sign that he's going to play again. and I believe he's going to be the backup. So he's going to be listed as the number 2. So he must have been ready to go.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer has gone on record as saying that Teddy Bridgewater will suit up for the game. He will be acting as the backup, and that he was a full participant in practice today.
Weird that they would announce that. Don't you guys think?
Usually, I think that with how Mike Zimmer is usually more reserved.
Whoever's going to play the quarterback is going to be our quarterback, and whoever backs him up will back him up, to quote Mike Ditka from years ago. But was a little surprising that he announced that Teddy's going to be number 2.
I think low-key, low under the radar, I think Mike Zimmer's excited as shit to have Teddy Bridgewater back.
Oh,
I'm sure he is.
The whole team is.
I think he is. I think that's one of the reasons he might have I don't think he slipped up. Obviously, he knows he was going to give this information out, but this is kind of a treat for everyone. And I don't know, for all the fans that are out there, people on YouTube or whatever, we kind of already know that this is Case Keenum's job to lose. But it's pretty cool that he would just go ahead and put it out there. So shout out. That's the major breaking news of the week. We want to start the show with it. I don't have any more notes underneath me, so I'm going to let you guys tackle these quick hits.
All right, I'll move on here. There were some practice squad transactions. There were some additions. Willie Beavers came back. Rodney Adams came back. And Cornelius Edison all returned to the practice squad.
Welcome back.
Yeah, good to have those guys back. To make room for them, the Vikings had to get rid of Bronson Hill and safety Jack Tocho, who was a draft pick this year. So sad to see him go, but not everybody can develop and stick around.
Assuming he doesn't get picked up, I think he'll be one of those guys that they float around and maybe bring back at a later point. Doesn't that seem like a Rick Spielman thing to do?
Yeah, they seem interested enough in him to take a look. And if they brought him to the practice squad, and with how they've been rotating some players in and out, it's that way of keeping that extra floating person on the practice squad available. Rick has done that pretty much since he arrived.
Dorian Foley is with us in the chat. Thank you, Dorian. He says, don't rock the boat. Case has been all right. And I kind of agree with him on that one.
Yeah, but is all right good enough? I mean, that's where you got to be. Case plays well against bad teams. Against good teams, not as great. Teddy has shown in the past that he's got that clutch gene where he doesn't really have a massive decrease when he takes on tough competition.
I also don't want Teddy anywhere near that Washington Redskins field. That is a terrible turf to play on. So we'll just let Case take care of this one, and Teddy can come back next week.
I agree.
Dorian Foley being in the chat, I wanted to say one thing to Dorian real quick. Woo! Did you watch it last night? I can't wait to watch this 30 for 30 for Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I know that he likes Ric Flair. We're friends on Facebook or whatever, but I cannot wait to watch that. So I hope you have. I'm sure you watched it last night.
Oh,
Scott Schwab, funny comment here from Scott Schwab, who said, y'all have to go live whenever I'm driving. We have a bug. We have a bug in your vehicle that tells us when you're driving, so we know.
Yes.
We just know when to go live.
We've been ready for a while. We just waited for you to get in your vehicle.
Yep, just waited for you to turn that key.
Scott has to go on a drive. He has to go to the bathroom. We're going to go live every time. So
Yep.
Let's go.
All right, so now that those practice squad transactions are out of the way, the Minnesota Vikings made their 7th annual visit to the Minneapolis Veterans Affairs Health Care System. They went there to express some gratitude for the sacrifices made by American heroes, and there were quite a few players on hand. I don't have the list in front of me. I can punch them up real quick. But this is something now they've done for 7 years in a row. They've gone to the hospital to meet with these veterans that have just laid their life on the line. Some of them injured, some of them families of injured veterans. So far, I always love to point out the positive things that this team does that are often overlooked, and this is one of those kind of things that I feel should have a little bit of a spotlight on it.
I like it. It hits home for me. I think that's really cool, and like Adam said, just any kind of positivity that the team does, because this team does a lot of positive things, but this being, tying in with military and veterans, and they do this every November. It's a Salute to Service month, so it's cool to see the Vikings get involved, because I got nothing but love for this team, and they usually do pretty good on events like this outside of the games.
Yeah, the list of players that they shared was just massive. And I'm trying to find, okay, we've got Ben Gedeon, Stephen Weatherly, Kevin McDermott, Ryan Quigley, Dave Osborne, Ricky Young, Bob Lertzma, 2 cheerleaders, and just a lot of people from the past and present of the franchise there on hand. So, and
I like that when they mix in some of the veteran.
I highly recommend, if you ever get a chance to meet Bob Lertzma, one of the funniest, most awesome guys you'll ever meet, especially awesome with kids. If you've got kids, they got to meet Bob.
I've heard good things about him.
Yeah, so much fun with him. Let's see. We've got Everson Griffin, who was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Month for October. Well-deserved. Everson Griffin has been an absolute monster this year, and it's hard to see really anyone other than him get that spot.
We have some awards coming up, and spoilers, Everson Griffin may be getting a few.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, ESPN has selected their headquarters for when they're here for the Super Bowl, and they chose the IDS Center's Crystal Court. They're going to be doing live broadcasts from there in Minneapolis. They're going to do Sports Center, postseason NFL Countdown, NFL Live, and other shows. If you're a fan of classic television, you probably remember seeing the IDS Center in the opening credits to the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So there's a lot of history and stuff there as well.
Clearly, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a crossover appeal with the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Hey, I'm
sure
there's that statue of Mary Tyler Moore there in Minneapolis. It's big here.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than you might think, anyway.
I thought it was going to be because me and her look alike, but I understand.
Well, that too. It's the hat. It all comes back to the hat.
It might all come down to the hat, what it's all about. So we didn't talk too much about Teddy, but we're going to talk more about the upcoming game. But because we're halfway through the season, the Vikings have played 8 games, 6-2 to this point. A lot of websites and other organizations have been doing their midseason awards, and we've been doing midseason awards, I think, since we started the podcast, right?
I think so.
As far back as I can remember, it's at least since I joined a couple years ago, and we've been doing it.
So we went through and we gave an MVP in each position, including one for the rookie and an overall midseason game, ball, and donkey. So let's start running through a lot of these. Let's start with the offensive midseason MVP. I chose wide receiver Adam Thielen, who has been off to an just amazing start. 5 catches in each game, got his first touchdown of the season this year. Thielen has been an absolute monster, whether you are a fantasy football player or if you just enjoy watching the Vikings. He has become Case Keenum's favorite target, and he has some of the most reliable hands to make spectacular catches all the time. So that's who I went with, Adam Thielen.
I'm going to go ahead and jump on and piggyback for that because it was really hard. I wanted to give it to someone else, but I couldn't think with all the numbers and where he stands among other wideouts in the NFL. And the 5 catches in every game really stood out to me, and that's what kind of pushed me over the edge to this. If you're getting 5 catches every game, that means you're getting open, you're making sure-handed catches, and you're clearly the number one. So it was pretty easy for me at that point once you kind of put those stats down. Adam Thielen's been balling out, and I like that he just got paid, and then he's having an even better year because you see that drop-off from some players, but he's really living up to the hype of why we paid him. So
now you said Adam drop, but he hadn't had a drop pass for the first 7 games of the season.
That's incredible.
Pretty damn impressive.
I didn't see any way that there could be any other offensive midseason MVP other than Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I went a little different because I know Adam Thielen is the obvious answer. That's who my award should go to. But I'm not. I wanted to be, for the sake of conversation, I gave it to Case Keenum because he is a player that we kind of discredited a little bit. And, a lot of people were not, I know I in particular, when Bradford went down, I was not looking forward to Case Keenum taking over. And I think that overall, he has played well enough for the Minnesota Vikings. He's stepped in, and he hasn't cost us any football games. And that's what you want when you have to rely on your backup. It's like he's so far, he's never been the reason why we've lost any football games. And I like that from him. I like the fact that he's went out there, and there was the Chicago game, that Bradford started and wasn't able to finish, looked terrible, and Case was able to step in, and we were able to pick up the win on that one. So I just wanted to give him a little extra, I guess, pat on the back with this one.
Okay, completely understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, I may have given a little bit too much away at the beginning of the show there when I was talking about the NFC Defensive Player of the Month for October, but I did go with Everson Griffin. 10 sacks so far, 2 forced fumbles, 2 stuffs, 29 combined tackles.
A sack in every game this year. So it's crazy.
And that's only counting sacks. I mean, pressures-wise, he's been an absolute monster as well.
I wanted to go Everson just because I love his personality, and he's having another great year. Same thing with him. You know, we got him for a couple more years as well, and he's not taking a dip now that he got paid. He's playing even better. But I went with Harrison Smith for him being the highest-rated safety in the NFL through 8 weeks. To even be mentioned in the conversation with guys like Cam Chancellor, I know Eric Weddle's a little bit past his prime, but people like that, man, he's a monster. Harrison Smith always comes in the clutch. I'm super glad we paid him. I hope he stays a Viking for his whole career. He's playing really, really great ball yet again. So for my defensive MVP thus far this season, Harrison Smith. It's you, sir.
I had Harrison Smith broke down as well, too, for all the reasons that you said. For the sake of keeping it interesting here, let's audible out. I'm going to go with Xavier Rhodes, who's just a fantastic corner for this team. He shuts everyone down that he plays against, and now they have him shadowing players on both sides of the field. So he's not just locking down one side of the field. He's shutting down an entire player. And he's done an amazing job all season. He is, if not the best corner in the league, he has to be in the top 3 conversation league-wide.
Yeah, Rhodes has been as advertised.
Yes.
When the Vikings laid down the money and said, here it is, you go and do your thing, he has been doing his thing. Between Everson Griffin, Harrison Smith, and Xavier Rhodes, those levels of the defense, just wow.
And we mentioned in that conversation the guys like Linval Joseph, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. We don't even get to those guys. And Daniil Hunter. Yeah. That's insane. But we got you're at a plethora of choices, I would say, for the defensive side of the ball. So I like all 3 of these choices, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Linval Joseph would have been a fantastic choice, but I didn't think any of you guys. I thought one of you guys might grab him, but the defense wouldn't be the same without him there. That's for sure.
It's tough. You could, well, like you said, you could pick any number of players on the defense, and they could earn that award.
And if we're talking about some most improved players, I mean, Trey Waynes has been.
Yeah, I was going to say Fire Breather 719 in the chat just said that Trey Waynes has stepped up as well too. So we don't have a most improved player, but I think that would maybe be who I would go with if I had to pick one.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to have so many fantastic players on one side of the ball. Let's swap over now to special teams. I believe each of us picked a specialist, and nobody picked Kevin McDermott. Poor Kevin McDermott. He's done a great job as a holder.
He does. Honorary special teams.
Long snapper,
Kevin McDermott.
He's got a holder.
I went with Ryan Quigley because, well, I knew you guys would pick Kai Forbath. And we all kind of thought that he was going to be terrible, and he's not been terrible. I thought that he's actually done okay. And sometimes just being okay as a punter is what we need. And, yeah, he gets my midseason MVP award for being okay as a punter.
You didn't suck. Here's a trophy.
That was
pretty much.
Kyle said, and then he smiled real big. So, yeah, you get mine.
Yeah, you get mine.
That's really awesome. I'll try to keep it short because Adam's going to jump in too. But Kai Forbath, he's missed a couple extra points, maybe a field goal there. But he hasn't Blair Walsh us and cost us a game. And he actually stepped in and won a couple of games with his legs. So, hey, he's doing his job. I know there's a lot of questions saying, well, I don't know if he's got the leg strength. And then one game he kicks like a couple 50-yarders. So
yeah, Kai Forbath he's attempted 16 extra points this season, and he missed 4 of them. But, you know, when you take a look at the big picture, going 21 for 22 on field goals with 4 of them being from 50 or more, you got to kind of say, Kai, you are doing your job very well.
I know we want a kicker who's absolutely perfect, and it's not just Kai. I mean, you can look around the league too to defend him here. He's not the best kicker in the league, obviously, but he's a solid one, and I'm glad we have him. But a lot of guys have missed since we've moved the extra point back. They're had an alarming number of extra points missed. So it's not him. It's not him, you know, not doing his job correctly. A lot of these other guys are having troubles with it too. So I wanted to point that out.
Oh, for sure. Extra points have gone from being automatic to I don't know for sure about this one.
I would say it's 50-50 sometimes, just depending on who it is. Some of the sure leg kickers, maybe not so much, but league-wide, it's almost like a 50% bargain. So it's definitely made it a little bit more challenging.
And you've noticed, too, like kickers have just been coming and going from teams because of their inability to be consistent. These big leg kickers that can't hit the automatic extra points now, teams are looking at them like, okay, you aren't going to be able to do what you used to do.
Shout out to Blair Walsh this weekend, being Blair Walsh, since we're talking about kickers.
Everyone's talking about Blair in the chat right now. We're all ragging on Blair. Poor guy.
Yeah,
I was really hoping he could go there and get everything all turned around. And
absolutely not. If you're going to lose the game for us and then join the team that beat us that day, no, absolutely not. You can miss 18 field goals and be fired.
Oh,
I hate that. You know what? I was with you the same way, Adam, until he played that preseason game and stared Mike Zimmer down. And I'm like, you're the smallest guy on the team. Marcus Sherrills could kick your ass. Please stop.
oh. Our rookie midseason MVP, we had a clean sweep.
There's really no other question since Dalvin Cook went down. This is probably the easiest one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody went for rookie center Pat Elflein.
Adam, it's an offensive lineman. The floor is yours.
I think Elflein's been very solid. His ability to both pass protect and create holes in the running game have really helped this team take the next step. And what's even crazier is if you go on to YouTube and you type in and watch, like I did, from Teddy Bridgewater's rookie season. I was watching some of his gameplay, and to see just how the offensive line was collapsing around him, pressure coming right up the gut, it was brutal to watch. And Pat Elflein being in that center spot, coming in as a rookie, he's really seemed to develop a rapport with the quarterbacks there and just come in and play well. So, Pat Elflein, hats off to you.
Yeah, like I said, to just double tap on it, Dalvin Cook, I think if he was on pace to be, not only for our season for rookie MVP, he was on pace for rookie of the year possibly. I know it was a small sample size, but
I don't see anyone beating Kareem Hunt, but it would have been a challenge, hopefully.
He would have been in the conversation.
He'd have been in the conversation for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely in the conversation. There's some really good backs out there. Christian McCaffrey, which I was at the Panther game Sunday, surprise visit back home. He looks really good. Fournette looks good. But I think Dalvin Cook would have been in the conversation because it seemed like each game he got better and better. So who knows where he would be now. But with him being out, and just a credit to the offensive line too, like you said, we got younger from what we were. And we go into the season and we're all kind of worried and kind of like, man, I hope this works. And surprisingly, knock on wood, it's worked very well. And just knowing that you got a rookie center too, and you're like, man, this is crazy. It's kind of like it wasn't that hard of a transition for him at all. I'm really happy that an offensive lineman got an award, period, on the show. So
I think it's kind of crazy the Vikings kept all that center insurance. They have Joe Berger. They got Nick Easton. And they're two sort of guys that they kept as insurance for centers ended up being the starting guards.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
But yeah, they're gonna have to find someone to replace Joe Berger here very soon because he's gonna be hanging up those cleats here pretty soon, and hopefully someone like Danny Isadora is ready to take the next step, or the Vikings might have to look to the draft or something. I don't know, but for now, this offensive line has been doing their job, and
it's interesting to look at how you hit just one position right on the offensive line. You get your center figured out, and it kind of allows them to make better decisions working outward. Like you can get rid of Alex Boone, and you can kick Nick Easton in to that spot. It's like you can see how it just helps the whole line by getting just that one center position figured out.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Once you got those end pieces and you got a little bit of solid play in the middle, that it's amazing how having a quality guy next to you can increase your ability to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's true at almost any job. You surround yourself with winners and hard workers, and I think that's either going to rub off or pay off either way.
I agree. I feel like that at my current job right now. It's made me a lot better. So, Pat Elflin taking a clean sweep, the only clean. Well, I can't say the only clean sweep. We got another clean sweep coming up, but not the award that you want to win. So shout out to
really quick though. Doesn't this kind of validate that you should always draft quality linemen?
Oh,
I
yeah.
know we talk about this amongst ourselves all the time, but you should always, always, always draft quality linemen. I know it's not fun when you spend a second-round pick on a lineman. You want a wide receiver, you want a running back, but you have to. You just have to constantly be building that line.
Yeah, there should always be a steady rotation of players so you have the best possible guys at every spot. And I can't say that enough because injuries will happen. And like Scott Schwab says in the chat here, at safety, when Andrew Sendejo had to sit out for a game and Anthony Harris came in, you really didn't notice a significant drop-off.
No,
Right.
And that's been what's hurt this team a lot in previous years is that the starter goes down and then you're just screwed with backup talent, and you notice such a big drop-off.
Yep.
So let's do it.
Go ahead, man. I was going to keep giving some offensive line love, but we've been on that a lot.
Yeah, we've given them enough love for now. I want to hear Mr. West give away this midseason donkey award. I've been waiting for this.
Oh, he's okay. The thing about Tremaine Brock is that he's worthless. Literally worthless. He has done next to nothing. He has done so little.
Oh, he's done some things, none of them good.
Well, no, they haven't been positive, but he has done nothing. I don't even know why he's on the team. You could cut him today, and it would not make.
On the team.
Why?
Because we get a 7th-round pick for his ass.
That's not Mike Zimmer's. No.
Boy, do I regret that.
Oh, man.
Clean sweep of the day for the Donkey Award. All three of us said Tremaine Brock.
And I was actually kind of interested in Tremaine Brock coming in because he's had some success in the past. But when he came here, the first thing he did was make a mistake. I'm like, okay, you got a penalty, you got a dumb penalty. That's okay, move on. And then he misses tackles, and it's like, okay, mistakes happen. Sometimes they pile up. And I keep waiting for that moment where it's like, okay, Tremaine Brock is going to step in, he's going to play well, and he's going to make us forget some of these mistakes he's been making, and that has not happened.
If Marcus Sherrills hasn't passed him on the depth chart at corner, I know something's wrong there.
They've essentially pulled him from the starting lineup.
Yeah, oof. Yeah, we could have kept Sam Bradford around for God knows when. We could have just cut Tremaine Brock today and been done with it and then activated Teddy.
We do have a request in the chat here that Scott Schwab would like you to move a little closer to your mic, Mr. Smith.
I will scoot up. I'll bring this mustache forward to you, Scott.
You got to keep that stash kicking. No Shave November, man. Get it going.
No Shave November. It's in full effect.
Now, what's fun is that our midseason game ball, we all went with somebody different, and I think each one of these players is very deserving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad. Mine was terrible.
No, I actually really like your choice for some interesting reasons. I don't have to just say who mine went to. I've been pouring praise on Everson Griffin ever since the show started. For the reasons why I gave him the defensive MVP is why he's the team MVP. And also because I feel like the defensive unit is just so amazing that choosing the offensive MVP from the team to be the midseason game ball, I just couldn't do it. So I just kept going back and forth between Everson Griffin and Linval Joseph, and Everson Griffin got the nod just because of how consistently dominant he's been.
I love the choice, man. Solid choice. You can't go wrong. Going in, I can't believe he's got a sack in every game for the first 8 games. That's crazy.
Hey, it was close in game 8.
And he definitely is at the top of the list. He's up at the top, not the very top of it, but I think the guy from the Cowboys is number 1, but I think Everson's tied at second for most sacks right now. So he's on pace to get 20 sacks this year, which is crazy.
Absolutely.
I was reading some article on NFL.com, and one of the writers called him the best defensive player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, what he's doing is amazing.
And you can make that case, and it's a legitimate case. I even as a Vikings fan, I go, that might be a little bit of a stretch, but he should be in the conversation. He should be in the top 5, somewhere in there. I think so anyway.
Yeah.
I went with Adam Thielen for my mid-season game ball because I kind of gave him the shaft with my mid-season MVP award a little bit. So mid-season game ball, when it comes right down to it, if we're talking about who the best offensive player on this team is, it's Adam Thielen. He's so consistent. He always comes up with clutch catches. He needs to get more involved in the red zone. That's about the only negative you could say so far for him this year. But he is just such a good, consistent route runner on this team. He reminds me a little bit of Chris Carter in that respects, and I like that. I'm a big Adam Thielen fan. I haven't bought a Vikings jersey in a long time, but I'm going to buy myself an Adam Thielen one for Christmas.
Yeah, Adam Thielen, what reminds me of when I was watching video on Greg Jennings. Solid route runner.
Good comparison.
Good hands.
That's a fantastic comparison.
And, the Vikings only got Jennings towards the end of his career when, he had already had most of his glory days in Green Bay. But Minnesota fans got to see a lot of what he brought to the table.
That's an interesting comparison, Adam, because I have heard Adam Thielen actually say that Greg Jennings helped him a lot when he came to the team.
You can tell in his route running.
Helped him develop and grow as a player.
You can really tell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of feel, I don't say dumb because I definitely love my choice, but this is not the best offensive player on the team. But given the circumstance, I gave my...
Sorry, I'm laughing at a comment in the chat. I had a really good comment. He's like, Adam Thielen, please, can you guys from the Purple People podcast, can you tell me his backstory? Because every football game, they always have to tell his backstory.
They always have to throw in that $500 scholarship in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool one, though. I can't lie. I haven't gotten sick of it yet, but yes, that's a very solid point. But for my game ball, through the whole season, man, I am surprised in the best way possible. Not at kick returns, but at the running back position, Mr. Jerick McKinnon. You're getting mine because we got excited for the signing of Latavius Murray. We knew Dalvin Cook was probably going to get the bulk of the load after Murray was out with an injury for a lot of training camp and preseason. And then Dalvin Cook comes on the scene, and we're like, holy crap, we knocked this one out of the park. He's going to be an awesome player. Unfortunately, he goes down pretty early in the year, and Jerick McKinnon just steps right in and just produces. And my biggest thing for Jerick McKinnon is, with today's NFL, you got to have a multi-purpose back. Now, some guys, like when we had AP, he didn't have a lot of skills outside of rushing the ball. He wasn't the greatest receiver. But when you have a guy like Jet, he'll catch the ball, and he'll have 75 freaking receiving yards in a game like he's had this year, on top of maybe like 60 rushing yards. He's a dual threat. I'm not going to lie, at the beginning of the year, I was like, man, he's going to be the odd man out. And he's all but the the number one running back and damn near the second best offensive player we have at times because with Case, not as accurate as Bradford, doesn't throw it as deep, even though he does take some shots. So Jerick McKinnon, man, what a pleasant surprise. I hope he keeps balling out. So you're going to get my game ball for the first 8 games.
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon has been an absolute just pleasure for the Vikings. His ability to come in and just be a part of the passing game as well as the running game, and it has been great. Having an asset like that in the backfield, especially to counter the strengths of Latavius Murray, who's more of a north-south runner, it adds a whole new dynamic to the team.
Just no more kick returns.
Nope. We are team take a knee. From now on, we are team take a knee, and that is okay.
Mm-hmm. Very firmly team take a knee.
I have also when Dalvin Cook went down in my fantasy league, a guy put a waiver claim in on Latavius Murray, and I was like, "You are putting in a claim on the wrong running back, gentlemen."
That's funny.
But those are our awards. We didn't go and do any silly awards. We could have done best celebration and a bunch of other stuff, but we all know that Duck Duck Dinosaur was the best.
Duck Duck Dinosaur. You're just not even touching that one, are you?
No, I'm
not even going there.
I am firmly Duck Duck Dinosaur.
I think the new stupid category we should have is best Mike Zimmer quote, because there's
that should be a segment every week.
Hey, I'm telling you, and you guys know, if you listen to me on the show, I always advocate for Dan Le Batard, and they always do funniest sound from the sports weekend. So usually on Mondays, Mike Zimmer is a fan favorite over on the Le Batard show. They absolutely love. I think they just think that he sounds miserable all the time because I guess the way he talks. But some of the stuff that he said, and they love him over there. But yeah, I think we should definitely come up with something. And you guys in the chat, until we get done with the show, you should tell us what your favorite Mike Zimmer quote is of the year, because especially when he goes over and poops on our favorite reporter over there, just asks the most dumbass questions of all time. Chris Thomason, I still hate you.
I mean,
mine is still he'd have to be active on game day.
By the way.
As he walks off the set, that one was the best. It was really good.
Oh.
I mean, my favorite Mike Zimmer quote of all time, if we're just going of all time, Mike Zimmer, it's the "I can find a cover 2 corner at the 7-Eleven up the street." That one was just the best. And that was early on. That was like, oh, this is not Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, that quote came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
He was trying to give Xavier Rhodes some good old mentoring.
All right, so I don't have a question up. Did we do a social media question this week?
I don't think so. Unfortunately, I was on vacation and I didn't have any internet access last week. So
listen to these excuses pouring in. I was having fun and doing stuff.
I was drunk at a Carolina Panthers game.
I was eating ice cream.
Tony's ice cream.
Sponsored Purple People podcast.
But last week we did ask you about your midseason MVPs, and you gave us your answers. So now you guys have our answers as far as who we gave our game balls to and who our MVPs are. And I thought that was fun. But what I do want to talk about right now is the Yahoo Survival League, because I do an update each week, and this week we had a flawless week, gentlemen. Not one single strike was handed out among the group. Yet
I don't like this. I don't support this.
Yet there's only one team owner left who has not yet received a strike. But 14 teams remain.
I'm not even gonna worry about it this week.
You can just hear the frustration in Mr. Smith. He's like, come on.
You guys, somebody has to dethrone this dude. There's got to be somebody that likes free stuff, all right? More than Craig.
Yeah, we keep trying to give away, so many prizes to all these people, and it's the same guy that wins everything.
That guy's he's got some kind of luck, I'm telling you, man. Some of the wins that you squeak by with Craig, your time's going to run out eventually.
We shouldn't root against someone, though.
We're not. We're just playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do have a question here in the chat. This one comes from Scott. He says, who is that Redskins running back that we signed, and how long is he sticking around for?
Until the day after the Redskins game.
Brutal.
Oh, man.
I have to raise my hand here. This is sound bad. What Redskins running back?
The Washington Redskins put in a waiver claim after the Redskins cut running back Mac Brown.
Is he on the practice squad?
No, he's on the active roster.
He's on the active roster. Holy crap. I legit didn't.
This is such a Bill Belichick move. That I swear to God, this kid's only here for intel. We don't need a running back.
I thought that Mac Brown would be the one cut after they got the information from him about the Redskins, and that he would be the one that went to take place when Teddy came back. Then I was like, no, well, maybe it'll, finally be Tremaine Brock that hits the brick. It's like, no. So he's still there, and I don't know what his purpose really is, because I understand that people are like, well, the Vikings need a running back 3, but that is kind of what CJ Ham is there for. And they've got a built-in free fullback for the back at the tight end position. So I don't know. I'm not sure what is going on with Mac Brown or how long he's going to stick around, but I still don't understand the signing. I don't really like the signing too much.
Another good question here in the chat. Should the Vikings consider Martellus Bennett? Just got released from Green Bay.
Oh, he's got some weird health issues. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with him. I don't think it can be.
There's always a roster spot waiting when Tremaine Brock gets cut. So, yeah, sign him.
That and tight end with Kyle Rudolph, David Morgan, and the Belldozer, I think, kind of set there.
We have bad luck with free agent tight ends.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the Belldozer. He's been doing all right.
No, I didn't. Nothing wrong with him. But just like in the past when we've had free agent tight ends like John Carlson, it's not worked out so well for us.
Hey, I thought John Carlson worked out all right. I mean, the contract was too big, but his play wasn't awful. The only reason that signing was bad is because they threw that much money at him.
Did he retire?
Yeah, he's done.
He's retired?
Yeah. Didn't think we'd be about John Carlson today. That's another first.
No,
and I believe the first NFL game I went to, I wore a John Carlson jersey and they won.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still got the jersey?
I do. It's in my closet. Well, I have not thrown out a single jersey. I gave my sister my Chris Carter jersey, and she never wore it, so I took it back.
I don't blame you.
So, but that's the only thing that's happened. I still have my Adrian Peterson jerseys, and I don't know why I do.
I have a Darren Sharper jersey that my friend Paul.
Yeah, you got to do something about that.
He gave it to me because he didn't want it in his closet. I had bought some.
If you're Kyle, if your power goes out and you need to start a fire to stay warm, you have something.
Use the Sharper jersey. Yeah.
All I recommend is take the nameplate off the back.
Oh, that's actually a good idea.
Then you got like an almost anybody jersey.
I'll just get my name put on it. I'd do that. Yeah.
And that'll work.
It's actually a good idea, Adam.
Yeah, I have a Brett Favre jersey that I was thinking about turning into a Chris Cluey jersey for a while.
Oh, God.
And now all of that sounds ridiculous.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about earlier, just to let you guys know, we signed a running back, Mac Brown from the Redskins. We play the Redskins Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's on Fox. I'm worried about these next 2 games, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Now,
put Roofy on the back. No, I will not be putting Roofy on the back of the jersey. But that's a good one, though. That's funny. I like that.
Dark humor here at the Purple People Podcast. I love it. But I'm worried about these games. Washington snuck a win in Seattle last week because Blair Walsh decided to miss a bunch of field goals like an asshole again. So that's the reason why the Washington Redskins won, because if he would have made any of the ones that he missed, they would have lost. But we don't really have a lot of success when we play them in FedEx Field. It's an awful field to play on, and they just find a way to win. The only thing that I really could say about this is you guys get a lot of game tape on the future Minnesota Vikings quarterback, Mr. Kirk Cousins, because he will be here next year. I'm going to keep saying that until it happens.
It's going to be Teddy next year.
Teddy. Yes, Teddy.
We love
I'm
Teddy.
giving you guys crap. I know it just stirs everyone up when I say that. There was one article out there that says we could have been possibly a fit for him, and I'm rolling with it, because we have such good luck signing quarterbacks from other teams. But I'm worried about this game, guys, because I know it's kind of weird to kind of tie something in from last year, years prior, but I don't want them to lose the momentum. And let's be honest here. The last 4 teams that we faced they didn't have the best quarterback play, and they've been below average teams, but you can't be mad at our team for going in and winning. That's just stupid. So I'm going to be happy with the wins. I think they're going to be a tough opponent, and I don't, particularly like road games versus home games. So we'll see. I have faith in the defense to do their job. This is no team to sleep on because they're at 500, and they're a pretty good team if they can figure it out and get rolling. So it's going to be.
I don't believe that the Redskins have the same. I don't think they have enough firepower offensively to put a lot of points up on this Vikings defense, which means that it'll rest in the hands of Case Keenum to move the ball against a very capable Redskins defense. And that's where my concern comes in. I'm not worried about the defense holding the Redskins to under 20 points. I'm not too worried about that.
Right.
It's having the offense put some points on the board where it's kind of, I don't know.
Concern lies at is just worrying, we have faith in Case Keenum. We're going to put all our support behind it, but this isn't a defense that you want to sleep on. They can actually do some damage, and they do have some really good edge rushers as well. So hoping the line holds up. Just to jump ahead a little quickly, guys, for next week too, I told you I was worried about these next 2 games. The Los Angeles Rams are for real. Holy crap. They putting up the most points in the league, and we're going to have a tough time there. But that's ahead, so I just want to let you guys know this is where it's going to count in the second half of the season because we got a little tough schedule ahead. But I wanted to give you guys a little insight because, like I said, I took a surprise visit back to Charlotte this weekend, and I got to do a little bit of research amidst a couple of adult beverages that I had before and during this game. I watched the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons play, and I can firmly tell you that if we play our best football, we will come out with 2 wins against both of these teams because they're not very good. It was awful to watch. Jonathan Stewart fumbled twice in the first quarter, and everyone wanted to just get rid of a running back that's been there for a decade, which is really funny. Christian McCaffrey is the real deal. I don't trust Cam Newton. They got rid of Kelvin Benjamin, but stifling Matt Ryan doesn't seem like a really hard thing to do. Carolina does have a pretty good defense. But just to give you guys a little heads up, I wasn't too impressed with that game. It was 20-17, and the Falcons would have won if Julio Jones had not dropped a wide-open pass in the end zone. So just did a little recon for the guys we're going to be playing a little bit later on in the season, but just wanted to throw that in there.
Let's talk about some fun stats against the Redskins because I wrote an article earlier on the Viking Age this week that I thought had some pretty fun stuff. Now, despite never winning a Super Bowl, the Vikings are one of the winningest teams in the NFL. They're the 9th winningest franchise, winning 54.1% of their games. But sadly, the Redskins lead the all-time series against the Vikings 13-12, which means if Minnesota can come in and win this game on the road, they will tie up the all-time series 13-13, which would be pretty good because they were able to tie up the series against the Baltimore Ravens earlier this year as well, which is all kind of fun stuff. Ever since 1990, the Minnesota Vikings are 17-10 after a bye week, which is a good sign. The bad part is that the Vikings have only won 1 of their last 7 games after the bye.
After last year, where the team really collapsed after the bye week, you got to feel like they're going to come out and play extra hard and not want to let that happen again, even if it was just dumbass coincidence that it happened after the bye, based on North Turner and everything else that happened. It's a statement game, I think, for Minnesota as well, too, to be like, no, we recognize this happened last year. We're a different team. We're a better team. We're a tougher team. I think that's the statement that Mike Zimmer is going to want to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking at all those numbers, I know that it's all history, and each game is won each week on the football field. But it's hard to look at those stats and not wonder what Minnesota's approach is going to be to this game. You can't really game plan for that turf at FedEx Field. It's just not good. There have been a significant number of injuries there. I believe that there have been some players for the Vikings that even came out and said that they're concerned about the condition of the turf there. They said the same thing about Soldier Field, too, and there are players falling down all over the place there.
The Washington Field is notorious for being terrible. I had a comment, Adam, that will be a good one for you. I want to know your opinion on this one.
Hi.
It said from Alan Adkins in the chat, he is so ready for Danny Isadora to start over Nick Easton. He goes on to say that he was really opening up some holes in the running game and seemed fine in pass protection. What did you think of Danny Isadora? Do you think he should start over Nick Easton?
Right now, Nick Easton is the Vikings' best pass-protecting lineman. You really can't take him out, especially when you're hoping to get Teddy Bridgewater in there eventually and keep him protected. And Case Keenum needs to stay as safe as possible, too. Yes, I absolutely agree that Danny Isadora is an upgrade when it comes to run blocking. But for now, I think the Vikings' plan is going to be to bring Danny Isadora along slowly and hopefully bring him in as the heir apparent at the right guard position when Joe Berger retires. I believe that's the plan, and based on what I've seen from Isadora to this point, I think that's the best strategy. I don't want to shake anything up on that offensive line right now. I think the continuity is real good. I think they're able to have a great blend of pass blocking and run blocking, and I don't want to make any changes right now.
For what it's worth, I like how Nick Easton's been playing as well, too.
Yeah, he could be a little better in making holes in the run game, but that's never really been his strong suit. I think that the right side of that offensive line with Mike Remmers, Joe Berger, I think that's where you're really going to want to run the football. If you're planning on picking up a yard or two in a crucial situation, you don't really want to do it behind Nick Easton. But yeah, it reminds me of back in the day how the Vikings used to notoriously run the ball right behind Big Phil because you knew that he was going to plow a massive hole. And I think that when Danny Isadora is ready to take over that right guard spot, that we won't see a significant drop-off there, and that Nick Easton can continue to develop, and they'll bring in a little bit more competition for him there. But for now, I think that Nick Easton is a solid enough blend of a player where he doesn't do anything bad enough that you take the position away from him, but he's not great enough to where you automatically say, okay, he's the starter this year.
Sure. Yep, I agree with that. I think that's a fair assessment.
And honestly, whoever you can put in right now between Riley Rafe, who's playing at an excellent level, and Pat Elflein, who has come in and been a fantastic rookie, if you can solidify that front, you are going to have a very happy quarterback, and you're going to have a running back who can pick up some yards.
Yeah, and Scott made a good comment, too. He said your lineman also depends on your style of running back you have, and that he's going to be looking forward, when you get Dalvin Cook back, to see Dalvin and Teddy on the field together.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that, too, because it's going to pick up the pace. As much as Case Keenum can be sneaky, he's got some wheels when he needs to. Teddy has shown in the past that he's had great mobility, but considering the situation with his knee.
We'll be curious to see, when he comes back, what kind of mobility he has. I really think, and this is me being a total homer right now, pulling for my team, I really think Teddy's going to be fine. I don't think that you'll see a big drop-off in his mobility. I think that he's young and that he's going to be able to bounce back from this.
He's the kind of player who has the confidence to do that.
Yeah.
He works hard. He trains hard. He's stuck by the team. Everything that he's done has been, saying his prayers, eating his vitamins, all that kind of stuff. He's got it, man.
I think so, too.
That's all I have for this week. You guys got anything else you want to throw in here?
I don't have anything else. Just excited for Teddy to be active again. The day's finally here. Don't expect him to play, but Teddy's back, and thank you guys once again for sticking around in the chat. I keep hearing like a new name or two every week, so tell your friends about it. I'll ask everybody that now since we have the platform, and I know there are still people in the YouTube chat. If you all have us on Twitter or Facebook, repost our information. Tell your friends to hit us up if they're Vikings fans, and tell them to join in because we absolutely enjoy interacting with you guys. That's why we do it.
Yeah, we're up to 424 as far as subscribers on YouTube, which is nice because I think when we started making a little bit of a push to ask people to do it, we were around 260 or so.
Yeah.
So people are hitting subscribe and checking out our shows. And I see that we've gotten a couple thumbs up as well, and I think that's because Mr. West is just too damn handsome.
Probably not.
What?
Probably
those
not.
Teenage girls just pounding that thumbs up button, watching you?
It's because of Mr. Smith and his hat.
Oh.
That's really... And I think his camera froze up, too.
No, I'm right here.
That's definitely possible.
Oh, I was going to say, we could talk so much shit about him. He froze up. But then he came back. You ruined my whole plan.
But as usual, you can head on over to the Viking Age. You can check out my work there. I've been putting up some pieces here and there about how poorly I anticipated what the Vikings were going to do to clear room for Teddy Bridgewater. I've been doing some fun weekly pieces as well about expert predictions, looking at some of the power rankings and things like that. So there's always something new up there if you want to check it out. I've got Undead Walking going on where the Walking Dead's in full swing. Episode 4 coming up on Sunday, and it's going to be just another crazy one. This season has been nonstop action and drama. So if you haven't been watching season 8 and you stopped after season 7, you're missing out.
Try season 4, but yes, I'll get there.
You're getting there, man. You are getting there.
Well, if anyone's interested, I have been being a guest on my friend Jeff Porter's movie podcast that he just started up. It's called Shut Up, I Like This, where we sit down and we discuss movies that we like. We've done From Dusk Till Dawn, Jet Li's the one, and going over tonight, we're going to talk about the Nicolas Cage. Spice World. The Nicolas Cage classic movie Face Off is going to be tonight's topic.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, I love Face Off so much. It's so good. It's so good. And Jeff is just starting out on this. It's really cool. I don't have a link offhand because I don't know what his link is for it. So I'll put it in the description of the video, or you can probably find it. Just go to attackoftheblog.net. That's my website. I got a link to the From Dusk Till Dawn one up on that, so you can give that a listen if you want to hear me and Jeff, and there's some other people that are going to be on there as well too. Talk about movies because we love movies. We're all big movie fans.
Hey, movies are fantastic. I can't get enough of them.
Yes.
And they don't make enough movies about the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, I can watch some zombie movies, but good football movies are hard to come across. On that note, I want to thank all you guys for joining us in the chat. Remember to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen to these shows on iTunes if you don't want to look at our faces during the time, which I completely understand because I haven't gotten a haircut lately, and this is getting out of hand here. And I did not shave before November hit, so I'm going to have a massive beard. And all that adds up to out-of-control hair all the time.
No shave November, sir. Full effect here at the Purple People Podcast.
Oh, it's going to be a hairy situation. But I do want to thank everyone again for joining us, and remember to stay classy, Minnesota.